If you've ever felt unmotivated, like you're in a little bit of a slump and you can't quite figure out how to get out of it and do the things that you know you need to do, this video will help you. My name's Lane, and I love to help digital entrepreneurs start and grow their passive income style online businesses. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe. Recently, I had an experience with, I guess you would call it burnout. Basically, just a complete lack of motivation, not wanting to do the things that I do in my business, not wanting to make content, not wanting to even check email, avoiding every bit of it. This is interesting and kind of weird because I actually like what I do. I quit my job 3 years ago to do this, and the work that I do is not stressful. I enjoy every bit of it. And if I don't like doing something, I stop doing it or I give it away to someone else. So it was interesting to me to try to figure out, like, why can I not just muster up the motivation to get done the things that I just need to get done? And typically things that I enjoy doing, and typically things that I would do whether I wanted to do them or not. If you've ever been in this situation, you know how frustrating this could be. Like on my YouTube channel, I just realized on this channel, I've published 400 videos. So in the past, 400 times I've sat in front of a camera, said things, had those things edited or edited them myself, and then published it and made 400 videos. 400 different times. And yet, for the last couple of weeks, it was almost impossible for me to force myself to sit down and do a video or even check an email or do the other things that I need to do in my business on the daily or weekly basis. So I've worked through this and I'm kind of coming out of this funk. And you know that because I'm here talking to a camera, so at least I'm doing something. And today's been much better than any previous day in the last few weeks. So I wanted to make this video really just to kind of document what I did that helped me through this phase or stage of being unmotivated and not wanting to do anything, so that maybe it could help you. Because I watched a few YouTube videos about what to do, and to be honest, I got more frustrated because they would just suggest things and I would think, I don't want to do anything, so why am I going to do that? So I want to say, first of all, you might hear this and be just as frustrated as I was. And that's part of the process. I think part of it is you have to kind of get frustrated and say, I don't even want to do that, but it's worth listening and it's worth hearing me out because I just went through this process. So the first thing I think you have to do is you have to take a step back and just acknowledge that you're in a funk. that you don't want to do stuff, that maybe you're burned out. I don't know how you define that, but like maybe you're burned out, maybe you're just unmotivated, maybe you're tired, and maybe the things that you used to just do because you had to, now you either don't do them or at least don't want to do them. So acknowledging that goes a long way. For me, making that acknowledgement was enough for me to say, okay, I feel this way and I need to at least realize that I feel this way. I don't know why that's so valuable, it just is. And until I got to that point, I think I was living in this stage of like denial, like, oh yeah, I'll get to it, oh, I'll do it, just kept making excuses. Oh, it's summertime, oh, we're traveling a lot, our kids are about to start school. All these things were really just barriers in my mind to the actual issue, which is I just don't want to work right now. And acknowledging that went a long way. The second thing I did is I reached out to a friend that's also in the YouTube marketing business space. And I just said, hey, I don't want to do anything. And I sent them a video or an audio message. And I just said, I gotta tell you, man, all the things that I typically do just because I committed to do them, I don't want to do them. And I'm kind of like not doing them. And I'm kind of worried. I just was very honest. I said, what if I don't get out of this? What if I'm just a lazy piece of crap now and that's just the way things are? And so saying that out loud was good. It was good for me to say it. It was good for me to know that a trusted friend at least knows what I'm going through now. And he responded and gave me some things to think about and also said, look, I get it. So I immediately realized I wasn't alone. So acknowledge it and then reach out to a friend and let somebody know, like, hey, I don't feel like doing the things that I know I'm supposed to do. Third, it's helpful to do an assessment of the typical stuff that leads to this kind of problem. Now, I want to say I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor. Your issue could be clinical depression, and I do not diagnose that. That is a totally different thing. If you think that's what you're going through, seek professional help because I am not qualified to help you there. But setting that aside, what I did is I started thinking about, okay, am I getting enough sleep? Am I under too much stress? And do I have too many things on my plate? I started there. And the question of sleep is one of those where the answer is almost always no. I'm not getting enough sleep, but I need to get more. I wake up really early. Part of the choice that I've made in my life, get up, go to the gym early every day. So I have to go to bed early in order to get my 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So the last few nights, I've intentionally gone to bed like over early just to make sure that I get all the sleep in that I need to get. Maybe that's something you need to consider doing as well. Stress. Am I under a lot of stress? What are the things that are stressing me out? Stress can be a paralyzing thing. Stress can be something that when you feel it, it just keeps you from moving forward with any other action in your life. And so I just decided, okay, what are the things that are stressing me out? Had a conversation with my wife and we worked through some of the things that are causing her and I stress. And to be honest, it's just kind of a stressful time. Summer's ending, kids are going back to school, a million different moving parts in our lives. And so I just had a lot of stress. And then the other thing is too many things on my plate. This is business, but it's also life. And it's hard to kind of draw a distinct line, especially when you run a business out of your home, because you're at home. And so you're living your life and you're running your business. And these two things kind of happen concurrently. And so too many things in your plate, either in your business or in your life, can cause a great deal of paralysis, meaning that you just don't want to do anything because there's too many things to do. So I made an assessment of those things, and honestly, I didn't even want to do that, okay? I didn't even want to think about this stuff. I wanted to take a nap. So if I needed to take a nap, I did. And then I'd wake up and go right back into trying to assess what's going on. So do an assessment of your typical things: sleep, stress, too much on your plate, things stressing you out, all that kind of thing. Because just having that in front of you allows you to do something about it. Maybe you can get more sleep. Maybe you can work on reducing stress. Maybe you can take some things off your plate. The fourth thing I did, and this was perhaps the most valuable thing of all, and I did this yesterday, so this is very fresh. My wife and I did a dopamine starvation event.
What is that?
Okay, basically we just turned our phones completely off for the day. What this meant was that I could not just distract myself by scrolling TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. I just didn't have my phone there readily accessible to escape with. So I couldn't just grab my phone at any given time and just thumb through, or just put a YouTube video in my ear and distract myself from everything I'm doing. I didn't have that option. What that meant is that I was more present in the moment, and I didn't have that kind of dopamine hit every 5 seconds from scrolling a new TikTok video. I had to actually deal with life. And it was hard, honestly, for the first like 30 minutes to an hour, where it was just habitual to grab my phone. It's like, oh, it's not there. I turned it off and I put it on a shelf. But eventually it started to become just kind of like, okay, like normal. And when I would want to grab it, it's like, well, I can't. So I might as well just play with my kids, or I might as well think, or I might as well have a clear mind. And by the end of the day, I was actually feeling more clear-headed and more motivated to take on the day today. This was yesterday. It was enough to get me motivated to take on the day today. So a dopamine detox just for one day made a massive difference, and I highly would recommend it. You might say, well, why don't you do it longer? I don't know. I did it for a day. That's all I could do. I got back on my phone today, and maybe I'll do it again. But even that just one day made a huge difference. Okay, now is where we get to the part where if you're really unmotivated and really burned out, you're gonna say, ugh, because that's what I said. I was watching these videos and I said, ugh. But here it is anyway. Do something. Pick something, do it. If it's a small task, do that small task. If it's a big task, take a bite out of that big task. But do something and then do another thing. Do something and do another thing. And if you do all of these from the very start, you acknowledge it, you reach out to a friend, you tackle the main things, you do a little dopamine detox, and then you channel whatever energy you have, whatever reserves you have, into doing something. And when you finish that one thing, check it off the box, reward yourself, tell yourself you did a good job, and then do another thing. Keep repeating this process, and hopefully you and I will get out of this funk and we'll get back into building our businesses, changing lives, and making a lot of money. By the way, if you want a guide for how to build your business, change lives, make a lot of money, go to lanesebring.com/supersimple. That's my free super simple guide to your first $500 online. It'll show you how to build an online business if that's what you're trying to do. And I would love to hear from you in the comments. What of these things are you going to try? And what are you hoping to achieve with it? Especially if you're feeling unmotivated right now. By the way, check out this video right here where I talk about growing your online business, because once you get out of this funk, I want to help you grow your business, and I can do that for you right there in that playlist.